All right, let's jump right in. When you hear Six Sigma, you're probably thinking of some corporate boardroom or a busy factory floor, right? But what if I told you that same exact system could be the secret to fixing some of the most frustrating problems we see in our schools every day? Today, we're going to look at Six Sigma not as a stuffy business buzzword, but as this totally unexpected and really powerful toolkit for building a better school. So, to get started, we've got to look at those everyday school frustrations through a completely new lens. We often just accept certain issues as, well, just the way things are. But Six Sigma really challenges that whole idea. Just think about it for a second. We've all been there. A report card has a mistake, the line for registration is a mile long, or you notice that student attendance has really taken a dive. They seem like totally separate random headaches, don't they? But what's the thread that connects all of them? And there it is. That's the big shift in thinking. In the world of Six Sigma, these aren't just annoying hassles, they're defects. They're actual, measurable flaws in a process that can be taken apart, analyzed, and most importantly, fixed. That simple change in perspective, that's step one. Okay, so if these are defects, where on earth do we find the solution? Well, what if the key to fixing our educational problems came from the most unlikely place you could imagine? The factory floor. This is Six Sigma. At its heart, it's a super-structured, data-driven way to make things better. And it's not about telling people to work harder. It's about working smarter. It's about using real data to figure out why things are going wrong and how to fix them for good. And this tells you just how ambitious Six Sigma really is. The goal is basically perfection. We're talking about getting errors down to a rate of just 3.4 defects for every 1 million chances for something to go wrong. Can you imagine applying that level of precision to things like report cards or student registration? It's incredible. So, how do you actually do this? It might sound really complex, but the engine driving Six Sigma is a surprisingly simple 5-step framework. It's called DMAIC, and we're going to walk right through it. This acronym, DMAIC, that's your roadmap. It's a logical, repeatable process you can use for pretty much any problem, from what's happening in the classroom to the paperwork in the main office. Let's see how it works with a real-world school example. First up, you define the problem with crystal clarity. Vague complaints just lead to vague solutions, right? So we're not saying something fuzzy like kids are procrastinating. No, we're stating a specific observable issue. Many students submit assignments late. Next, you measure, because you can't fix what you don't really understand. This is where you go from a feeling, many students, to hard numbers. Is it 20% of the students? Is it happening in just one subject? This data shows you the true size and shape of the problem. Now, for the really crucial part, you analyze. This is where you become a detective. You dig past the symptom, the late assignments, to find the real root cause. Are the deadlines unclear? Is the material just not engaging? This is where the real breakthroughs happen. Once you know that root cause, you can improve. And instead of just guessing, you're creating targeted solutions that are based on your analysis. If the cause was unclear, deadlines. Maybe the fix is a simple, standardized reminder system. If it was confusing instructions, the fix is a clearer rubric. See? Targeted solutions. And finally, and this is a step so many people forget, you control. You have to put systems in place to make sure the problem doesn't creep back in. You standardize that new reminder process, you keep an eye on the submission rates, and you make sure that your improvement actually sticks. That analyze step is so critical. So let's zoom in on it for a second. Six Sigma has some fantastic tools to help you get to the root of a problem without just guessing. We're going to look at two of the most powerful ones. First up is the fishbone diagram. It's a brilliant way to brainstorm and visually map out all the potential causes that might be leading to a single problem. This keeps you from getting fixated on just the most obvious symptom. And this is a perfect example of how it works. For a big problem like low student engagement, you can start mapping out all the possible reasons under different categories, like instructions, content, parental support, even the classroom environment. Suddenly, you have a whole picture of everything that could be going wrong. The second tool is the Pareto principle, which you've probably heard of as the 80-20 rule. It's a simple but incredibly powerful idea that roughly 80% of your problems are caused by just 20% of the reasons. This helps you focus your energy where it's going to have the biggest impact. Just look at this chart of student complaints. It's so clear, right? Unclear instructions is by far the biggest bar on the chart. The Pareto principle tells us that if we pour our energy into fixing just that one thing, we'll likely solve the vast majority of the overall problem. It's all about maximum results for your effort. But here's the thing. Six Sigma isn't just about using some cool tools to finish a single project and then call it a day. The real goal here is to build an entire school culture that's always looking for ways to get better. It's about creating a mindset. And that brings us to this amazing concept called Kaizen. It's a philosophy of continuous improvement. It's not about making huge, disruptive changes all at once. It's about empowering everyone to make small, smart improvements every single day. And those little wins, they add up to massive change over time. And this is what that can actually look like in a school. It can be simple stuff, suggestion boxes, student-led groups that are tasked with solving small problems. It's all about creating a system where everybody, from the students to the staff, feels like they're empowered to be part of the solution. So that really just leaves us with one last question. After seeing these tools and this kind of mindset, think about your own school, your own environment. What's the very first defect, big or small, that you think you could fix? Because with a framework like this, even the smallest change can be the start of something really big.